right. So a lot of people out there are always wondering, should I go to law school? What's law school like? So I thought we'd give them a unique perspective since you just finished your first year of law school. I finished law school a thousand years ago or so, but just wanted to talk a little bit about it. So I know, you've been working with us for a few years now, and you said, Adriano, I want to go to law school. And I said, don't do it. Stay here, work for
Right,
me.
first person to say that too. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't listen to me. You applied, you went to law school, and then you said, which law school should I go to? And I said, go to Windsor. It's the best law school. And yeah, you didn't listen to me again. You went to Western, but you're back, which is great. And thought, look, let's talk about your first year of law school and see how it went. So how was the application process? I know, I remember it was really stressful for me and complicated. How was it for you?
Oh, it's incredibly stressful. So much work and time goes into it. And before you even sort of get your materials together, you need an LSAT score. So I was fortunate when I wrote the LSAT, there was the three sections. There was the games, logical reasoning, and the reading comprehension. Nowadays, they got rid of the game section, which I found easy. It's a lot of big problem.
Yeah, me too. Actually.
Yeah. It's just the logical reasoning and reading comp now. So once you get your sort of LSAT score, you get your personal statements in order. You get your letter of references. You get your in transcripts and everything, all your soft skills, resumes, be able to show it off. Then is the hardest part, I think. The waiting game.
Yeah.
So you end up applying like early September, early August. At least when I did. Pro tip: you should apply just as early as you can with this sort of thing.
Yep.
So I applied super early, and then you just wait and you wait and you wait. You're checking your portal every day. You're checking Reddit. We're checking the Canadian law forum, everything, just to find some sort of answer. Got into some schools, got into some other ones. Didn't get into a couple ones, but wasn't too upset because I was very happy to get in at Western. Love Western. I will advocate for them every single day of the week.
So why did you choose Western over your other choices? You don't have to name your other choices, but why did you choose Western law?
Yeah, no, I'm happy I'll never downplay any other law school. They're all great everywhere in Ontario. There's a fantastic school.
Especially Windsor.
Yeah, especially Windsor. I had a lot of friends who go there. Pretty much anywhere in Ontario, you're going to get a fantastic degree. But I chose Western because when I went there for an open house, I don't know, I fell in love with the campus. Everybody I spoke to was, very receptive, got along with them well. There were so many people from the GTA as well, all in London, right? So I just felt, really comfortable. And that's the number one thing when we're choosing a law school. Make sure you're comfortable because it's hard.
What were your expectations going to law school? What did you think it was going to be like? Were you nervous? Were you scared? What were your thoughts going into law school?
I think at first I was so excited and just ready, like gung-ho. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to get involved, every clinic, club, anything that the school had to offer, I wanted to do. But the number one thing I didn't expect was how much work you have to put in besides the sort of extracurricular stuff. Like I obviously knew law school was a lot of work, but I didn't understand how much time you have to dedicate and put aside to just reading alone and understanding the materials, because it's a steep learning curve with legalese English.
Right.
So that was my big eye opener, just being able to allocate enough time to read, because you think prop science 20-30 pages maybe, and then the other prop science other 30-40, and they just simply stacked on one another. You're 5-6 classes, so you end up having over 100 to 150 pages a week.
Yeah, well, one of the things I always remember is in our orientation, the dean at the time, he came and spoke to all of us sitting in the moot court, and he said something that I'll never forget. He said, each and every single one of you right now is thinking, I am a fraud, not a fraud like Mike Ross, but,
yeah.
I don't belong here. I'm not smart enough. I'm going to get exposed. I'm going to fail.
Yeah.
And I thought that was perfect, because that was absolutely running through my head.
I'm right facing it out. Like, I'm like, when I get a mark back, so law school is great on a curve,
right?
As you know. So a lot of the times it's relative to how everyone performs in the class. So there was like an occasion where I finished an exam. I thought I used that thing. I thought I was top dog.
Right.
Got it back and it was a B. So I'm on the curve.
Right.
And that was a huge eye opener, because everyone in law school is incredibly intelligent, and it's competitive.
That's true. But on that note, when you do get that B plus or that A minus or that A, how good does that feel?
Means the world.
Yeah.
I got a couple B pluses, and I was taken back. Like, wow, I must have done something really, really well to impress. And a lot of people might think it's silly, just a B to a B plus, but
That means someone else got a B minus or a C plus, right?
exactly, yeah, it's all relative to the grade. So
Right.
if the whole class performs well, then you're probably gonna get beat down.
Yeah. Did you ever go when you got a B plus or A minus? You ever go around and find out who got that B minus and C plus and say, I'm the one that brought you down?
No. Me and my friend group were very good on not talking about grades. We're always there for each other. We work together, like notes and stuff like that. That's another reason why I like Western a lot, because we were just so collaborative. And you hear like horror stories about law school. It's like, I don't listen to those. Don't believe those. No one's gonna rip out textbook pages.
That actually is a true story. That happened in my law school, but that was an extremely isolated event. I think one of the things that I always loved about Windsor was how collegial it was. We've got notes passed down from the years prior to us to help us, get through the readings, help us comprehend them better. The tutorials taught by the senior classmen were great. And just, that sense of community. Windsor, I think, is a lot like Western in that sense that it's, I would say, probably still majority, if not maybe close to 50% of it is GTA people. So, you create that bond with people from your community, a lot of traveling back and forth. You're in the car for 3-4 hours, you're going to be bonding. So how did you expect to dress at law school? When I went, I thought, okay, should I go with a gray suit or a black suit? Do I need to button my shirt? What kind of tie? And then I got there and everyone's wearing shorts and sandals and a t-shirt. Did you have any of that same experience?
Definitely, yeah. I expected that as well, to be, be a little more dressed up. Not necessarily suits. I knew they didn't wear suits, but I got like dress pants, collared shirt, stuff like that. But no, quickly you'll see right away, everyone's relaxed. I pretty much lived in my sweatpants the entirety of my law school. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about dress code. I'll dress comfy. The school is not going to pressure you with dress up in any way whatsoever. Maybe when you have like mood presentations or just things going on where you're doing like a mock trial, stuff like that, maybe dress up for.
Probably a good idea. Yeah.
Well,
what about your undergrad? One thing that I was always, I guess, surprised, or maybe I shouldn't have been, is how poorly undergrad prepares you for law school. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I used to always say like a joke to my friends, and they asked, John, why you're at the law? You did a business undergrad. And I'm like, oh, you could go do any undergrad stuff. You can go to Farm College and go to law school. As long as you have good grades and you have good material to apply with, if you can do pretty much any undergrad. And that's why I think, because of that, broad, pretty much spectrum on anything you do, no one's gonna prepare you for law school. I know with my business undergrad, I chose business because I like math. I like science than I was in high school. Although I didn't do science, but there was a lot of math. I did a lot of accounting and finance. So I didn't do a lot of reading. So that was a huge learning curve for law school. But in general, the law schools know there's this big steep learning curve. They pretty much take you in as if you know enough. So it doesn't matter if you have that the poli-sci undergrad that everyone thinks is very important to law school. That is not the case.
Well, I did a double major in law and society and criminology, and yeah, it didn't help me one bit. I actually think you're probably better off than most, because when you start doing more of the corporate classes or tax classes, your business background will give you a little bit of an assistance. I would say, I think you gave great advice there. Choose an undergrad that you're very interested in, you're going to do well at. But I think you did something smart, and I don't like to give you credit ever, but I think you did do something smart preparing for law school, and that was coming to work here.
Absolutely.
And you started off as a volunteer. I didn't know who you were. You came in, you said, hey, I'm going to work hard. I said, let's give this guy a chance. And then we hired you, right? So, maybe you can speak about that, but, I think the experience you gained here probably helped you, hearing some of the terminology so you're not caught off guard, or hearing it for the first time in law school. What advice would you give to people who are about to go to law school in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was in undergrad, part of my requirements granted was to do a co-op, if you remember. So I had to complete originally 40 hours at something, to get some hands-on experience. And I just remember cold emailing, I think about 20, 30 firms in the GTA. And like 3 got back to me. You were one of them and gave me an interview. And I'm so grateful for my school pushing me towards that co-op opportunity, because I tell everyone now, listen, get some hands-on experience. You did as volunteer. Like right now you're young. Right now you want to learn. Not really about making the big bucks right now. So just get some hands-on experience. Understand, the career you want to get into. And yeah, I'm so grateful. I learned a lot, and it was very transferable to law school. Like, so one of the classes you're going to take in law school is called civil procedure. We do that every day.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we do. And my tort class as well. Like, I knew what thin skull, criminal skull was before the feature even brought it up to the rest of the class. Like little things like that absolutely helped. And the other one is legal research and writing. Being able to see how lawyers prepare memos and pleadings and things like that absolutely helped me just writing styles or those kinds of assignments. So yeah, definitely get some hands-on experience for law school.
I think it's a shame that co-op isn't mandatory in university programs, because there's no learning like hands-on learning. And even once you complete law school, if you think you're ready to be a lawyer, you're dead wrong, right? You don't learn how to be a lawyer until you're an Arbican student, until you're tasked with doing a discovery, reading pretrial memos, reading briefs, actually researching for a motion or something of that nature. So really hands-on experience is the only way you're gonna learn. The more of it you can get, the better.
Absolutely, yeah.
So thanks, Julia, for helping people understand what to expect in first year. My first year was decades ago. Yeah, it was, sadly.
A lot's
A lot's changed. But if you have any other questions, Giuliano's here to help. He's gonna give you his cell phone number. He's gonna give you, his birthday. Any of them,
whatever they want.
you reach out to him, guys, and he's here to help you guys out. Okay. Thanks, Giuliano.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks.